Doesn't scan. Come on.
Sorry, your chair.
No, that's fine. Keep me awake. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
I'm going to go ahead and get started, especially since lunch is happening after this session. And I remember yesterday I had to stand and eat a little bit, so maybe we'll get out a few minutes early. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Roboto. I'm kidding. I'm not Mrs. Roboto. But my name is Kim Borden. My name is Kim Borden. I'm a librarian at Plainfield Elementary School in the Penn Argyll Area School District. We are this big, surrounded by very big schools, Parkland, Nazareth, Easton. So we're a very tiny school. Did everybody get a chance to do the survey? So it looks like a lot of people already have Dash and Dot and are maybe looking for some more ideas or are looking for ways to put your own spin on a robot club. Okay, this is not working. So today's purpose is to give you all of the advice I can on how to start your own Wonder League Robotics Club. I have 25 teams, so yeah. I'm tired a lot of times. I'm very tired. So this is my second year in the competition, and I have definitely learned from my mistakes last year. So I just want to share all of those tips and tricks with you. So here's a little bit about myself. So I'm an elementary school librarian. We're pre-K to 3. I'm also the head robotics coach. You know, STEM certified, all of that good stuff. I'm gonna move on because the most important people in my life are my husband and my daughter. My husband's here to support me today. So what do you do when you have an idea? You knew the librarian was going to be inserting books in her presentation. So what do you do when you have an idea? Well, actually the idea was not mine. About 7 years ago, Penn Argyll decided to be a future-ready school. And I was one of the people asked to serve on the committee. And I didn't want to go because it was like 7:30 at night. I'm like, oh, I have to drive. But the superintendent, assistant superintendent, the mayor, kids were involved. All stakeholders were involved. So I was like, okay, I'll go. How bad could this be? So we all get together, and the kids, we want robotics. We want coding. We want robotics. They kept repeating themselves over and over again. So I was like, okay, the kids want robotics. This is great. And then absolutely nothing happened. Nobody did anything. Year 1, year 2, year 3. Nobody was doing anything about it. So, what do? You wait, and you wait, and you wait. And the problem with being a librarian is that you read a lot, and I know things, and I know all of the things, and now I can't unknow them. So things that I know are, we have a historical pattern of regression in our mathematics scores. We were 84% proficient, down to 59. These are problems. So now I know, like, my kids need this. How can I help them? Our school's now 50% at or below poverty, even though we're surrounded by very wealthy school districts. I read the research. I know 3 or 4 job openings are STEM-oriented. I know that community success is tied to school success. I also know that in the next 20 years, people making $20 an hour or less are probably going to lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence. So I felt obligated to intervene. How can I help my kids? So what do you do when you have no money, little support, because nobody was doing anything, and you're scared because you're just the elementary school librarian, and you don't think anyone's going to listen to you? So where did I begin? Well, I had to ask for support. So I scheduled a meeting. I don't even think I ever met my superintendent. I don't even think he knew who I was. So, can we have a meeting? I have an idea. Really not my idea, it was the kids' idea. So, walk into this meeting in the district office, which the last time I was in was the day I was hired to sign the paper. Business manager walks in. Assistant superintendent walks in. Face turns red, get nervous. But I came with my ideas, and then I came prepared with ways to solve the problem. So this was my solution. I knew there was this grant out there called America America's Farmers Grow Rural Education. Don't be scared of this Monsanto Fund situation. It's no longer sponsored by Monsanto. It's sponsored by Bayer. So we're surrounded by farmlands. You need a farmer to nominate your school, and you come up with an action plan to integrate STEM education. Robotics Club, let's do robots. So it just so happens a local farmer is an aide in our school, so we got our nomination. I filled out the application, and I shared everything with you. So, oh, and by the way, you have until April 1st. So this is still open and available. It's no longer $25,000, it's $15,000, but that's plenty of money. So you can still do this. You just need a farmer to nominate you. So, and here's a link to my proposal and my rationale. So I said, hey, it's a long shot. Well, you can't hurt to try. So we were the big winners. We were the $25,000 winners. There's the link to my grant application in case you want to steal it. You can just use it. I think everybody should do this. Okay, so this was my husband videotaping me because part of winning a grant is you need to fulfill media obligations on their side of things. So the new local news came in and recorded our STEM-abration, where we just opened up the stage curtains and we revealed all of the materials we bought with the money, and the kids went crazy. So we didn't think to record it, but my husband recorded my reaction. You'll like this. Don't mind the mess in my kitchen.
Purchase STEM kits and provide professional development for faculty and staff. We should have
Everybody should. So that was just me being psyched. So my grant, because I went for the big $25,000, had to be more than just robotics. So it included a three-tier approach. So tier 1 was purchasing 45 STEM kits. And from reading the research, just buying stuff is not good enough. You need to provide support for your teachers. So part of it was to provide professional development opportunities for our teachers. Like, here's 45 STEM kits. This is what you can do. And then, of course, tier 3, which is what I'm talking to you about today, is implementing a Wonder League Robotics Club for grades 2 and 3. But technically, you could have first graders because it's age 6 to 8.
So you can have first grade.
Yes. They just have to be 6 before the competition starts.
What were in your STEM kits?
Anything you can imagine.
Just like recyclable stuff that you just bag or like that you gave to the teachers? Or?
So I bought big storage containers and plastic bins. I bought everything I could possibly find, like through Lakeshore. And by the way, don't pay full price for anything. Call your reps and negotiate prices, and they will hook you up. Anything I can, especially since I'm a librarian, anything that would tie into a book. I love that. And I looked at everything was based on the curriculum, so anything that the teachers could take back and like, hey, like we're comparing and contrasting, you know, folk tales, fairy tales, fractured fairy tales. Here's a STEM kit. So anything to support the curriculum. I can provide you, oh, in the STEM application is a list of all of the items I bought. So why did I choose Wonder League Robotics? Because there's lots of stuff out there.
At Wonder Workshop, we felt there was this need to bring the community together. What one child did in any one part of the world could inspire children from anywhere, and that need is what led to us creating Wonder Workshop's Wonder League Robotics competition.
The Wonder League competition really makes that possible by isolating and breaking down real-world problems into fun, manageable, and educational challenges.
Experiences like the Wonder League really pull kids into being familiar and comfortable with computational thinking and problem solving.
We want to give children the confidence with technology.
With each mission, there's a challenge that the robot needs to accomplish.
You can have different age groups learn different aspects of programming and robotics.
They're trying to figure out how they can program their robot to accomplish a task.
It gives kids the opportunity to practice skills that they're going to need for what we know are the jobs of the future.
They're only going to gravitate towards it more as they pursue their education.
One of the things that's really exciting about this competition is that we see the excitement and the engagement from kids every single day.
Children can be programming these robots and sharing with the rest of the world in the confines of their homes, their schools, wherever they are. And all they need is a robot and a device to program it. Our mission is to inspire every home, every school to be a place where innovation can happen.
They can work together to solve problems.
Learning from their mistakes.
Okay, that's how you do that square. This is how I move across from the map.
Setting the robot up right to go to the right place I wanted it to go. It gives us an opportunity to use our imaginations to find solutions to problems that are fun.
They persevere and they are able to work together to come out successful on the other end.
You open the box, you turn the robot on, and you engage a child in an instant.
I want to see kids really enjoy solving challenges.
I think this competition will lay a strong foundation for these kids' futures.
And that is the foundation of the world of learning that the child will take on. So let's challenge today's children to become the inventors and creators of tomorrow.
So those are some of the reasons that I chose Wonder League Robotics. It was free, kind of, asterisk. I'll talk about that in a couple of slides. It was free. I also liked that I could open up the box and go. Like there was preparation on my part, but there was no planning. They already came up with the missions, they tied them to standards, it was already done for me. So here's more why. Because of course you need to convince the people who make decisions in your district why they should invest in this. So of course we're looking for those academic skills and the life skills. So of course 21st century learning, teamwork and community is a big deal. All the missions are standards aligned. They develop computational skills. The 4 C's are now the 5 C's. The 4 C's, leadership skills, also learning when to lead and learning when to listen is a big deal with our kids. It's differentiated. Some of my winning teams had kids, an ESL kid, kids with IEPs. So everyone can shine in Wonder League Robotics Club. It also teaches them grit and persistence because they fail a lot. There's a lot of failure, like hundreds and hundreds of times before things start working. But they learn from that. And also it's global. So even though I have 6 to 8, the age bracket 6 to 8, it's hard for them to think globally. Like they know that there's other children out there in the world. So it's a great way to start, putting that into their little brains that, they're not the only ones. Like there's kids outside of Penn Argyl doing robotics. So I liked the practicality of Wonder League. So the missions are created for you for free. Wonderful. All mission evidence is submitted online for free. And I'll show you that. It's very easy. There's a free Edmodo Coaches Forum. It's a lifesaver. I knew nothing about robotics. I was born in 1977, so totally missed out on the coding, programming, robotics situation. If I don't know something, I can just hop onto Edmodo. Like, hey guys, can anybody figure out the variable situation in mission 3? And then you'll have 20 other coaches from all over the world helping you, and we share ideas with each other. So don't let any fear you have about not knowing about coding outweigh the benefits that it provides for your students. Because I was terrified. I was like, I don't know how to code. Great customer service and support. So literally, one of my students was walking, he was running in the hallway, and the robot fell out of his hands, hit the floor, or hit the wall, then hit the floor. He wouldn't work, the head wouldn't work anymore. I called them, they had a new robot to me in 2 days, and they didn't ask me for any money. They even said keep the broken one, so now we take that one apart. Reasonably priced robots, I'll talk to you about that in a second. And the mission supplies are usually things you already have laying around your room or somewhere in your building, except for painter's tape. I have to buy a lot of painter's tape, like rolls and rolls and rolls of painter's tape. So 86 countries participated in Wonder League last year, so this is just a map demonstrating that. So I know in our age bracket, in our finals, We're competing against a lot of teams from China, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Brazil. So it's like the kids want to see, well, where is that? Where is that? And they'll even say when they're working, they're like, the kids in Korea are working on their mission right now. We have to go, guys. Let's go. So here are all of the other side effects from Wonder League Robotics Club. It's kind of that empathy, compassion, all of those skills that came along because they're 6 years old and it's probably the first time in their life where they're not told exactly what to do. Like, here's the mission, figure it out. I don't know what to do. Is this right? What do you think? Is it right? Does it work? Tell me about it. So there's a lot of frustration there. So you kind of have to help them work through those things. It's the first time. They haven't had a teacher standing over them. Do exactly this. Say exactly this. Behave this way. Sit and raise your hand and wait for someone to come to you. Does not happen in Robotics Club. And stick-to-itness. There's a lot of that because they want to give up. Even tell the parents. We have a mandatory parent meeting, and I tell them, in 3 weeks, your kids are going to come home and say they want to quit. Don't let them quit because the satisfaction they get when they finally complete a mission is amazing. So I have Earth Club over here. Last year, the theme for Wonder League Robotics Club was ocean conservation. So the kids, Wonder sends you videos to watch and things to talk about with the kids and books to read with them. So the kids got really upset. And they started our own Earth Club in our school, completely on their own, but because of what they learned in Robotics Club. So now they're now recycling. They have a recycle club. It's adorable. They drag big boxes around the school every Friday. It's hilarious. But it's them. They're taking ownership and agency of their learning. Okay, so free, but not really free. So the robots are about $150 each, but if you sign up as a Wonder League Robotics coach, you get a 20% discount. So make sure you sign up and get the discount. Also, if you call them and say, hey, I have this amount of money, I have this many teams, they will work with you. You need a Bluetooth device. We use Samsung Galaxy A tabs. I put them all out in the hallway. $150 each, but this year they launched a Chromebook compatible webpage. We're a Chromebook one-to-one school, so I don't even need the tabs anymore. So you just need a device with Bluetooth. So the Wonder League's robotics competition is free. The missions are free, Evidence Online is free, the Coaches Forum is free, and the apps are free. And they're available in Google Play and the App Store. You absolutely need a grid. I could lie to you and say, you can use painter's tape on the floor. The kids pick it off and then someone runs across it. It becomes a whole situation. I would say you need a grid. Especially with the little guys, because it's hard for them to visualize things without the grid. I shopped around. Wonder Leagues will sell the mat, but I emailed them and said, hey, can I just have the file? And then I called all of the local print shops and asked them to send me quotes. And I said, please, our little school, we need a robotics club, please. And so they'll give you a discount. So you would definitely need a grid, in my opinion.
I took a blue tarps that you see at Home Depot and Lowe's and a silver Sharpie and did that.
Yes.
Under $10.
Tablecloths.
Yep.
I've seen people with shower curtains.
Shower curtains I couldn't find.
A painter's drop cloth because it's hidden in so it's flat.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the vinyl. Yeah.
And also the IUs. Many of the IUs are starting the partnership with Wonder, and they'll give you the Dash robots for $110 plus 8 hours of professional development.
Nice. Thank you. If you have ideas, shout them out. So these were my assumptions going into starting a Wonder League Robotics Club. I thought I would have support. It's like, oh, everyone's gonna love me. It's gonna be fantastic. They're gonna be like, what can I do for you, Kim? No. Like, I didn't realize the custodians were gonna be grumpy because we're making a mess in the hallway. I didn't know that teachers would be like, excuse me, trying to get to the copy room after work. So I didn't realize, I thought everybody was gonna love it. I assumed that students would have difficulty with technology. Not the case. They have difficulty talking to one another, and they have trouble with time management and keeping their binders organized. So you have to remember, this is the first time they're ever doing anything like this. So I was like, this is gonna be great. They're just gonna jump right in. I have everything ready to go. It was like, okay, time out. Like, what do we do when we disagree with somebody on our team? And we have to act it out and model those behaviors. I also assumed that maybe it wasn't for everyone. Like, oh, I'm the librarian. I have all of the students. I know there are some kids who can't read. I know there are some kids who can't speak English. So I'm like, is there a place for them in Wonder League? The answer is yes. Wonder League is for everybody. Things to consider before you start Wonder League. Learning is social. It's messy. It's super loud, and it may look chaotic from people looking in from the outside. So I had found out during one of our meetings, our after-school meetings, that the district administration tapped into the security cameras in the hallways in our school, and they wanted to observe the kids during robotics. Oh, what did they see? Did they see like Billy flopping on the floor, or like? I was just so worried about it. They loved it. Like, the kids were really engaged in what they do. And you have to be super comfortable with being uncomfortable. I learn new things all the time. Did not know about variables. I thought it was like the x in an algebraic equation. So you have to be cool with not having the answers, because you won't, but you can find out. This is what my timeline looks like. The second week of school, I send the sign up to go home. Link to the sign up, already done for you. Third or fourth week, we hold a lottery. So the first year, I made a huge mistake and let 72 kids into the club, because I'm a sucker. I'm like, robots for everybody. Everybody needs to come. It's about exposure. So that was a big mistake, because it's probably not best practice to have 72 kids in Robot Club. So we hold a lottery. It's awful. It's an awful feeling, because kids cry, they get upset. For the first time in my 17 years of teaching, I'm getting angry emails from parents. Someone contacted my principal, but I just can't serve everyone. But to me, it's perspective. This is a good problem to have. So if I have so many kids trying to sign up for Robot Club, maybe we need to work it into the curriculum. Maybe you need to hire more people. Maybe it should be a special during the school day. So we're learning and growing as we go along. So fourth and fifth week.
How many do you have in the club?
Now I have 52. Way, way better. 52, 2 coaches, and then I have high school students who come and volunteer. It's the National Honor Society kids. They come and do their service hours. I also have a retired grandpa. He's from the Navy, so he was like, kids, tie your shoes. There are rules here. Grandmas, grandpas, parents will come in, and actually some of my 3rd graders moved up to middle school. They're even coming back now to help, so it's awesome. That's an awesome thing. Anyone who offers to help, accept it. 4th or 5th week, you notify teams to start collecting materials. You can get their binders ready. I have examples of the binders out in the hallway. The 6th week, we start meetings. We have a mandatory parent meeting. Here is the link to my presentation. I make them sign a contract, because then I can use it against them. Like, you signed a contract, you said you would listen to your coach. And we have rules, because it's very, the kids are responsible for their own learning and getting their missions done. So, like, strike 1, strike 2, like, what happens at strike 3? Maybe you're not ready for Robot Club. Oh, and they also take a pretest. So collect as much data as possible so that you can use it to help support your club later on. Because I got the grant the first year, and I had to spend all the money. I couldn't I'll save a little bit for the year after and the year after to spend all the money. So I did this not knowing if I would have Robot Club the 2nd year. So I collected as much data as possible. So we meet a bunch of times. We do all of that learning. I don't know what's up with that arrow. Then the 13th, around the 13th meeting, the invitational round begins. So there are 5 missions, and then there's a deadline. the kids who complete all 5 missions before the deadline typically qualify for the invitational round. I tell the kids it's like the Super Bowl or the World Series. I also this year made a change. So the kids who complete all 5 missions and qualify for invitationals, that's amazing. But I'll tell them, but don't worry if you didn't finish all 5 missions, you can still compete in our school-wide competition. So we'll give out prizes and things to, the kids who didn't quite make it, but they gave it heck. So we have about 20 meetings in all. We have a party. We're doing a robot fashion show on our last day. So we make it fun. I also re-administer the test to check for growth. And then I offer 3 bonus meetings for those teams qualifying in the invitational round because they're going to need it. The finals mission is usually really hard, but cool.
When you're meeting with them, what's the duration of time and how often?
We dismiss at 2:10. Parent pickup is at 4:30. So it's a nice chunk of time.
Once a week?
Once a week. Yeah, once a week for 20 weeks. Okay, this is our typical meeting. So 10 minutes dismissal and attendance, a 20-minute mini lesson, so I'll look ahead at the missions like, oh, I gotta figure out variables, or oh, I gotta figure out functions. If I notice that they've been having trouble, this is a common problem, deleting code, because they all have great ideas. And someone will say, okay, it's my turn, and they delete somebody's hard work. Then there's problems, somebody cries and has to go get a drink. It's drama. But if we notice things like that are happening, okay, like, we need to act it out. So what do you do if you want to delete code? You should probably get the permission of all the people on your team before you dump it in the bucket. They have about 70 minutes to set up and work on missions, and then 15 minutes to clean up, and they have to complete an exit ticket before they leave. The exit ticket is just a way for me to check in with them, and it's a reflective tool. So what did you do well today, and what was hard for you today? I also tell them if you have to tell me something private, to flip it over, and you can write me a little note. Sally was looking at me. Jaden was rude to me today. Can I have a new team? Or I noticed somebody keeps going to the bathroom and doesn't come back for 30 minutes. So they can write a little private note and just check in with me, because when you have 52 kids, it's important. So it's just a way to make sure I'm touching base with everybody. And they also tell me, I love Robot Club. Make sure you recruit help. Ask your principal for help. School board members, they wanted to come and tour Robotics Club, and I assigned them a group and made them work with them for that day. So I'm like, hey, you're gonna be here, you're gonna work. High school students, anyone looking for those community service hours, come on down. Parents, grandparents, other coaches. This is my other coach. She could not be here today. She has strep throat, so she's back in Penargil. So this is Suzanne Moyer. She's my assistant robotics coach and art educator. She's the best assistant coach to have because she knows all the cool things to do. All of the missions, you get points for creativity and set design. So I'm kind of the techie lady, and she's the artistic, creative lady. So, and this is how far she'll go to help teach the kids. We were learning about loops. Whoa. So that's us teaching the kids loops. You make the art teacher, loop around a hula hoop. They'll never forget what a loop is. Get rid of that. So you also need to consider space. I'm very lucky. I have a very large library. I was Educator of the Year last year, so my principal, please get me new furniture that has wheels and I can just move out of the way. So I have all mobile furniture so we can use the library. We go out into the hallways. Anywhere there's free space, we go. So that's my beautiful library. Also lucky enough to have this space. So adjacent to the library was one of those old computer labs, the big desktops. And they dismantled it because we went one-to-one with Chromebooks. And I was like, I call dibs on that space. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I want it because I knew it would just end up being a dumping ground for stuff. So I want it. It's next to my room. I want it. So this is called the pit. They call it the swimming pool too. So I'm lucky enough to have this space. So you can see our mats. Our mats, arts and crafts station. Here's our robotic storage. So we'll go anywhere there's free space. This is how I organize my robots because I have so many kids and so many teams. So each one is in a bin, labeled and numbered. And sorry for the crappy video. I knew it was on my phone somewhere.
So what I did was I went to Walmart and I bought some of the open shelving, the cubby storage systems that they have. It's relatively cheap. I think it was about $59, and it is pretty sturdy. If you notice at the bottom, I also put them on casters. The casters were super cheap too. And I have these Copernicus bins. Just about everybody has these laying around.
I found them in the basement.
And I brought in my power drill from home. And you can see here, I drilled a hole and fished all of the cables through so that each of my teams will have their own numbered and labeled bin with all of their robotics needs already inside. So in addition, their dot will go in here and their journal will go in here. And all charging happens on top or behind. So let me show you behind. And this is the reason for the casters. So this is what it looks like from the back. It's a little messy, but it's hidden. No one would ever know. So I bought these 10-port USB charging sticks, this kind of situation here. And I just use command strips. And I strategically place them throughout. And they are charged by a surge protector, which is then plugged into the wall. So let me just show you that again. So I hope this helps some of you with your...
Is that helpful to anybody? I know a lot of people have cards. Charging is a problem because the robots are not, it's not like a square where they can stack up on each other, or like a Chromebook with a Chromebook card. So that's how I charge, and it also helps keep all of their other materials organized. That's your team, that's your bin.
Charging problem.
Oh, also, okay, so all of their supplies, so they ended up getting all of their attachments. So they'll get a bag, it's labeled, and then I took a Sharpie, I learned this the hard way, number every item that they get. And then at the end of the season I do inventory and I'll be like, you're missing a ping pong ball, where's your stuff? So then they have to go and find it. So everything is labeled and numbered, and they're responsible for their things. Oh, also the back of the tablets, even though now we use Chromebooks. So the back of the tablets has their team number and PIN. I know it's like, I published the PIN on the back, but they're 6 years old. So also, since we can use the Chromebooks now, I kind of solved the problem. They can use their tablets to record themselves instead of me running around recording everybody. So I know that Team 12's evidence is on Team 12's tablet, which are connected to the drive. This is my Chromebook charging station, and this is what their binders look like. Everything is labeled. Can you tell I'm a librarian? Labeled and organized. Okay, I know this looks a little messy, but I always try and keep things ready to go near the door because I can't help everybody at the same time. So I keep everything ready to go. Like, oh, I need that worksheet on the variables. It's on the magnet by the door. I lost my bridge homework. There it is by the door. And I'm going to talk about these because these are a real lifesaver. These are our mission checklists because you need to collect evidence for the judges. So this is what it looks like. So they would write their team number, mission 4. You need all of these items. This is all of the evidence you need. So make sure we have it. Check. And they also have the tablet number 12. So this is mission 4. So they need the video of their bridge. They need a program key, pictures of their mat design. So that's where the creativity comes in. and a program key using variables to count 10 audio events. So make sure they have that. Because they'll say, I'm done, and I'll be like, you're not done. So also, keep your Google Drive organized. I'm going to show you my drive. Get rid of my email. So this is my drive. There's Robot Club. This is last year's folder, this year's folder. So I keep all of my agendas, my little mini lesson plans, things that I can archive, mission info, and then each team has their own folder. So I'll go into Team 11, and I'll show you Mission 4. So Team 11, Mission 4. And here's their little movie. This is Team Girl Power.
But this is mission. How many are on a team?
Okay, so first year I had 4 per team. Not a good situation. But I went with 4 because that's what Wonder said. They said no more than 4. So I was like, oh, 4. I would not have 4 on a team. I would have no more than 3. No more than 3. 4 is too many personalities, and then someone's always kind of left out. The 4.
Mission 4, and we Team 11.
What's your team name?
Girl Power.
Okay. Get this thing done. Just do it.
I don't know. Go! I kind of want to finish it. Oh, it's not even on the start. Oh, you can't. Okay, go. There's my fault. I just forget things. There's just a little reroute. Nope, it's not lined up.
Oh, dash, dash,
Dash, dash, dash, dash, dash, dash,
Counting the audio.
dash.
You did it!
The little girl in pink, she never talked to me until this year. So I've had her for 4 years. This is the first year she's decided to talk. So I'm also getting to, know all of my robotics kids. So that was mission 4. So everybody has, the year, mission info, and then each team has a folder. And then each team folder, mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, mission 4, mission 5. Yeah.
So did you pre-do all that before you even started? The kids weren't making those folders.
I did, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did it all. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Another big tip: assign homework. Because I look through the missions, like the first day that they release them, I open the missions and I'm like, what? Like, I can't use an X-Acto knife with 52 kids. Like, time to get the parents involved. So assign homework. It's a really great opportunity for the parents to work with their kids. So I've had a lot of parents like, we had so much fun working on that this weekend. Or now I know what to do with all my Amazon boxes from Christmas shopping. So it really turned out to be a fantastic thing. So make sure you assign homework. It will save your life. There was no way I could cut all of that cardboard with all of those kids. And I make sure I give them as much information as I can to complete the mission. So you'll see one of the Golden Gate Bridge is outside. So here are some of their cardboard creations. And you can see their parents help them, but I'm like, hey, why not? Parents should be involved and engaged with what their kids are doing in school. the kids worked on that with their parents and they loved it. They had to do cardboard creations for a cardboard city this year. So that's why you might have seen Pet Shelter. So they had to create a building that could be used in the cardboard city, and then also bonus points later on for reusing the things in a creative way. And you put it to some cool music and the kids love it. So here's just some up close things. So we're the Penargil Green Knights. So he made a little green knights with a shield. And there's a trash can for our cardboard city. Very wise. And here are some of our bridges. And you'll notice it's all displayed in the library on top of the shelves. So I'm lucky enough I'm the librarian, but if you reach out to your librarian, he or she would probably love putting all of this stuff on display if you have storage limitations in your room. They love displaying kids' stuff. Look at that one. That one's so cool. It's like a castle. They did such a great job. Okay, so here are some time savers. Make sure you assign homework. Pick captains and leaders. I can't possibly help everybody, so I'll assign captains. This year they were returning members of the Robotics Club. So, guys, please stand up. She's really good at this and he's really good at that. So if I'm busy helping somebody else, find that person. Don't wait for me. So I'm giving the kids ownership of it. It's their club. They can help each other. Let the kids do all of the work. So they set up, they record, they gather their materials, and they clean up. It may not be best, but it's giving them agency over their own club. Ask parents for supplies. On the Remind app, I said, hey, we need paper towel rolls. The next day I had like 3,000. So ask for supplies, people will provide. And people can always hook you up. I have a mom who works at Home Depot. You need painter's tape? Here you go. I make sure I do quick check-ins with each team. So there are teams who are, by the second week, like, oh, they're going all the way. And there are teams who are like, oh, it's gonna be a rough year. So I just try to make sure I do check-ins with every team just to encourage them and see where they're at and what they need. Identify problems early and then model those behaviors, the fighting, the communication. So Coach Moyer and I will act it out like, hey, like, you looked at me weird. So we'll act it out. We talk a lot about teamwork too. Participate in the coaches forum on Edmodo. I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the Edmodo coaches forum. So, and it'll be for each age bracket because the missions look different if you have older kids. So be like, hey, like, I'm having we had problems with the counters when we said dash, 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 dash. We couldn't figure it out. So the coaches helped each other and we made suggestions to our teams. So definitely participate in Edmodo. It will save your life. Oh, let me go back. And this little thing. I don't know, it was new to me. My tech people were like, oh, that's been around forever. So it's easier for me to walk around with my phone and take pictures and videos. And then I'm like, oh, email, because then it won't load to the drive. So I bought this little phone USB. I just plug it into my phone. It downloads all the pictures and videos I took of the day. And then it switches to a USB, plug it right into your computer, and download to your drive. So it's an iPhone USB. It's like magic. Magic.
One-day delivery on Amazon?
Yes. Well, now they have ones with, so it'll have it's like 3 prongs. Because now for an Android device, then your Apple device, and then your USB. It's magic.
It's just called a phone USB.
iPhone USB. Yeah. Yes.
They have a Google Drive app that you can just upload right from your phone too.
When I'm at work, attachment is too big or it takes too long, failed to load.
Because I have the app.
Yeah, doesn't always work. And this one, like in 2 seconds, it's all there, nice and easy. Yes.
I'm new to the Dashbot. I know that we don't have them. If you're only using the first and second for your robotics club, does the code stay with them that another group of kids could use that same robot?
Yes, you can.
Tied to them, or can I use it still with other kids?
Yes, they can share devices, because in the Blockly app, so they create their code, let's say they've been working for 2 hours on code, they can save their progress, and they download, it's called a project key, and then so you would wipe it out, the next team can come in, they save their project key. So it's just like a pin, it's an alphanumeric pin, and then next time they go in, download your project key, Y88J, and then all of their work appears. Yeah. Communication is key. So I have a private group on Facebook with the parents, because parents are still using Facebook, even though the kids say it's lame. My daughter says it's lame. Only old people use Facebook. I also use the Remind app. Just like, hey, WLRC meets tomorrow, pick up at 4:30. Or tomorrow we're learning about functions, be ready. Bridges are due next Thursday. Also, make sure you say thank you to everybody. Like the school nurse who stayed because somebody got a bloody nose, the custodial staff because you made a mess in the hallway and the kids cleaned. Make sure you thank your school level admin, district level, thank the teachers, parents, helpers, secretaries, and make sure you present to your school board of directors. So I'm going to share that with you. So I took a bunch of adorable little robot kids, brought them to the school board meeting, showed this video. So these were from the application that they filled out to get into Robot Club. Children, and you make a little video with their own words, who can say no? And they said, please, can we have Robot Club next year? And they all stayed, and their parents stayed until they voted to approve it for the following year. So, and we expanded into our middle school. Go ahead.
Do you choose an equal number of girls and boys?
It's funny. So the first year, I was like, this is great. We're gonna have like it's free. Like everybody come out. I had to recruit girls. I was looking at the sign-ups, like the ratio, like girls are not signing up. So I pulled a few to the side, like girls I thought like would absolutely join Robot Club. And like, Claire, I'm like, why are you signing up for Robot Club? I don't know technology. I'm scared of computers, even though I use a computer. So the girls were hesitant. So I had to go out. I had to reach out to the girls. So instead of, I was like, oh, just handing out the sign-up sheet's going to be enough. It wasn't enough. So when they came through the arts rotation, Suzanne, the art teacher, and myself, we did a little robot demo. We wanted to take away any kind of fear that the kids had. And then suddenly I had girls, and I was like, girls need to be in STEM, and girls need to do this. Suddenly I had a surge in applications. I do, with the lottery, I try to keep it even, an even number of girls versus boys, just for a little equity. But it's hard saying no to anybody. It's an awful thing. Okay, let's see. Oh, so make sure you collect, analyze, and share your data. Oh, by the way, did you see that? The full school board presentation. So if you have people you need to convince and manipulate, it's there for you. So this was the kind of data I collected from that pre-test and post-test. So overall, there was a 20% growth. between the beginning of the season and the end of the season. And the test was basic, like algorithm. Do you know what an algorithm is? A sequence. I did a grid, like a battleship grid. Draw a star in B3. So it was just basic beginner things. Then I did a comparison between the boys and girls. So eventually, by the post-test, the girls ended up outscoring the boys by 4%. Even though there was a big deficit at the beginning, at the pre-test. And then I compared third graders and fourth graders. So on the pre-test, third graders outscored the second graders by 16%. And by the end, the second graders had completely closed that gap. So go second graders. Yeah. So I just have a few videos that I want to show you. Is there anything you want to see in particular? Do you want to see a mission? Do you want to play with robots?
You keep mentioning 6 to 8th grade, or 6 to 8 years old. So
Yes.
you're saying there's different, this robotics club, there's different, this
Yep.
is just, you're only focused on those ages because they're here, but there's
Because
different
that's what's in my school. So the age brackets are 6 to 8, 9 to 11, and 12 to 14.
And they're all using the dash and dot for everything.
The older kids will use Q. It looks like Dash, but it's way cooler. It looks cool. Yeah. He's black. I think there's like a white or a gray, space gray version of him now too. Or her. Don't want to be sexist. Alright, let me show you. Okay, I'll show you this one. This was from last year's finals round. So they had to, a ping pong ball, they called it an egg. So they had to pick up an egg, travel all around the grid, and then lift up the egg and place it into a cup. So this kid had been trying for days. So this little boy is 7 years old. I'm just showing you the end, not the whole thing. So they modified it, they magnetized the ping pong ball. And they built a ramp. He used his binder to build a ramp.
Miss Gordon! Miss Gordon, I got it.
Are you kidding me?
No.
So he was giving up his lunch and recess to work because the deadline had been coming up. So I was teaching a class. So that's like him recording. It was amazing. It was awesome. Same kid this year, so this is a year later. They had to build a gate using a pulley system, and Dash had to open up the gate and drive through. So there are Lego builders that you can attach to the side or his wheels. That's me yelling at the kids in the background. He's excited.
So another question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't have 25 of those mats, so you only have one mat for all 25 groups, or how many mats do you have for all those groups?
I have 25 mats.
You 25 mats?
Only because I had the grant money.
Oh.
I had the grant money.
Okay.
The plan was if I won the 25,000, if I would have only gotten the 15 or no money, I probably would have only had maybe 4 or 5 teams.
Okay.
Yes.
You were talking about like assigning homework.
Yeah.
When you're not assessing it in your classroom, this is all for the robotics team.
Yes, it's an after-school activity. Yeah, but I mean, this is authentic learning. I mean, if you're lucky enough to build this into your school day, that's awesome.
We just got a grant and we bought 10 of them.
Yeah.
And the struggle that I'm having with my teachers is, well, this is one more thing to add in my day.
Yeah.
How am I going to use this?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to gather as many resources so that they can implement it into a math classroom, into an ELA classroom, into science or social studies.
Yeah.
So that's why, because you mentioned homework and assigning things.
Yes.
Bridges are due.
Right.
So when you were talking about I'm thinking, so then how do you assess it? Do you have a rubric, or this is all outside of school day?
It's all outside of the school day, but I want it to be part of the curriculum. there were some kids, robotics kids, after this season was over, they're like, hey, well, I had to do a biography project. Can I use a robot? They turned one of the robots into Abraham Lincoln and made a timeline on the floor. And so he would drive and like, I am Abraham Lincoln. I was born in. So I've seen it used that way, dressed up as a scientist. Angles, we learn about angles and degrees all the time. I mean, it's, yeah.
I was just curious. I'm always looking for more resources for my teachers. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Follow Wonder League on Facebook and Twitter, and there's a ton of ideas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The new challenges you showed, what did they code that in? Is that Blockly or on their
So there's two apps you can use, Wonder or Blockly. I have the kids using Blockly. Yeah. So it's just block programming.
Do they have any prior knowledge to Blockly, how to find or the robots, or is it just coming in?
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. It's like, hey, welcome to Robotics Club. Here you go. So we do a little demonstration on our opening day, and it's to make him burp. So then what else can we do? Left turn, right turn, drive forward, back. We just go over the basics, and then it's like mission 1, like get going. You're on a deadline, and they love. The kids give up their lunch and recess. They beg to do robotics. Like, oh, I have to write a 5-page paragraph about my landmark. Can I come during lunch to do it? Of course you can. Of course you can.
And I saw in your exit ticket you had jobs.
Yeah.
What are those jobs?
So the lead programmer, the robot wrangler, and the runner. So the lead programmer is the person who's holding and is in charge of the code for the day. The robot wrangler, because there's a lot of picking up and moving and things like that. And the runner is like, hey, we need more tape. Go get it. Or I know what would work perfect for that. We need construction paper. So assign jobs. That way everybody, you want people to be busy.
With those missions, is there like a teacher's guide that tells you about the mini lessons or things to do for it?
Yeah, so I'll show you the coach's, it's called the Coach's Corner. So this is what it looks like. So even for my kids who are like, whoa, like they're awesome, I can assign them missions in the 9 to 11 category. So there's the Coach's Guide, the finals mission, more Coach's Guide. It's like a little tutorial you go through, gives you all the tips and tricks. And then of course your exclusive discount as a coach.
They also have the previous years.
Yeah, you can. I do that too. So like my 2nd graders who are new to Robotics Club, who finished but didn't meet the deadline, so I'm like, what am I going to do with these kids? I gave them last year's missions. So now they're working on last year's stuff too. There's the themed mat. You don't have to buy that. I did not buy the themed mat because I don't want to pay every year for a theme. So I was like, I'll just have the basic one, please, that we can reuse. So there are the standards. Little certificates to give the kids. You can print your own stickers and awards. All-Star Regional Kit. So I signed up to be an All-Star Regional School because they give you $200 in the Wonder store. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I bought new robots with them. So here are little mini missions that you can do to familiarize the kids with the robots. So that's the Coach's Corner. And I'll show you the portal for inputting evidence to the judges. So this is what my screen looks like. So here's team 1. Let me go to team 11. So you can see team 11 qualified for the invitational round. So I would go to view team. And it spins. And by the way, oh, here we go. So mission 1, they've completed it, but this is how you would add evidence. And you just submit it right, so there's their program key, and that's all from that checklist I keep hanging around my door. So there's their program key, and I pull the items right from their drive. Make sure it's, you make it available for everyone to see, or else your team won't get points for it. So that's it. So you just go to each individual item, upload from their drive, and submit. So it's very easy to use if you stay organized. And here's my library website. I just use a Symbaloo. And so that's the link right there. So even if they're not in Robot Club, or maybe they have free tech time during the day, they can build code. They just don't have the robot with them. But I'm making it available. Oh, here's some ELA stuff. So they had to write a story about the Lost Realm.
Team 6, The Lost Realm. Peppa Pig Squad. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom. It was no ordinary place. It had nothing but darkness and despair. The king would not let anyone leave the castle. People would wonder what was beyond the gates. Some would say demons would hunt whoever passed the gates. They would even try to get out every day. Then one day, he had a daughter. He loved her like a precious diamond. But one day the king got sick and sadly passed. So Ella, the daughter, had to take control of the kingdom. Her daughter wanted the gates to open, but her godfather warned her not to. But she snuck out at midnight and escaped. That night, she mapped out the whole island with the forest and the castle. She even got past the demons, and that, my friends, is a story of the Lost Realm.
So that was part of the mission. They had to write and produce a video of their Lost Realm. So this is really like in-depth, authentic learning. So that's why I love the Wonderly. I know time is up. It's lunchtime. Thank you for coming. Everything is available on the program. You can open that up. If there's anything you need from me, send me an email and I'll get it to you. And I have free stuff. Wonder sent me free stuff to give to you today. So I'll be at the door on your way. Thank you.
And then they gave me a second tier of kids that I'm doing this in the spring with. And I'm just going through the mission.
Okay.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
So if
you don't have to do that.
Do you have to do, can you sign up as a
Sign up for the
coach?
competition and then get all the stuff.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But then you don't have to actually compete to do that. Okay.
No, because I signed up. So what I also did was I signed up the 6th to 8th grade age group, and I went into a first grade classroom, and I'm doing some of those competitions
Yeah, that's
with
what
some
I
of
was
those first
thinking.
grade
We
teachers.
have some, and I thought I could do some of the missions. Because I'm a librarian. Yeah.
still alive.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of you.
It's the new fancy word for ownership.
Okay, so almost all of them have dashes, so I didn't need to write this. Just, and then I looked at the thing and I could see.
Oh yeah, where were they from?
They're all like, they already have dash out, how can they do more?
That's what I've been saying for 3 months.
Your kids are listening. Wanna put your computer in there?
Do not have to say those things. Pretty sure the last thing I just wrote was Juliet.
You did. Are you ready?
You're literally the most qualified to do this. I took all these stupid pictures.
You did? Come on, honey, you better go check out.
What about the stuff on the floor?
That's not mine.
Oh.
I said somebody left a bunch of stuff there. Now let me go make sure. Okay, not mine.
Okay.
I over prepared.
But you didn't let them know.
No, damn. I was so into it.
know. They know.
It's been all these years not working.
And it's still, and you know what else? It gets ridiculous when you know when they're gonna break them down. Wow, you did their own break.
Who's that?
Like, God could tell us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
No, I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. And that was dirty, what they did with Jim. And you know what?
Yeah, oh, you know what, if they would have called him and said, hey, Jim, this is what
And I know
happened.
who was behind it, I told you that. And also, remember this, Ted, one of the persons that was behind it is getting his now. Because
Oh, I know. I know. Because Jim called, that's one thing I have to say, Kevin told him who was complaining. And I said, cause, Jim goes, yeah, how about this? He goes, he's taking a pension now, Wayne, he goes, he wanted to at the top of the, retirement list because he was an ex-president.
yes,
And I'm thinking, that's really interesting.
yeah, yeah. And that's not happening for him?
Yeah,
He's trying to
yeah.
get all different avenues to make other things happen.
But, you know what, he shouldn't, he ran into a wall. Everyone else could spend time, he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, or at least not right away he wasn't.
Yeah.
And he doesn't work, you know?
Right.
And that's fine if they voted on it and stuff like that, it's just that it would have been nice to be able to, I work a lot of the meetings only because it's available.
By the way.
I said, I work like, a lot of the days that the meetings are on because,
Yeah,
that's,
available for you.
And it's usually weekends that I get offered all the time.
Right.
But, it would have been nice to know that an important issue like that was gonna be voted on, you know?
Wait, what was voted on?
The pension, up until 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
It didn't matter as long as it wasn't a local.
I know, I didn't know, I wasn't there for that one either.
So I'm thinking, or at least tell them, like, say, hey, Jim, this is what's happening, we can't, and that would have been fine.
Well, you know what?
But just to tell them, say, hey, you can't work, and then,
Kevin and both of them should have went, yeah, this is what's going down, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But this is what's going down.
Yeah.
Just to give you a heads up. Because that's what you do when you're in a position like
Yeah,
they're in.
yeah.
Is you give them, you tell them,
Yeah.
this is the way it's gonna be.
And he said that they do it on the honor system, that you yourself are supposed to come in and say, hey, I'm getting a pension, I've been on. That's the honor system, thing. And he goes, well, you didn't come to me, you listened to Wayne and everything, like, why didn't you come to me and ask me
And
if I was?
Jim's eyes wasn't doing anything wrong. The way that thing read was that if you collect the 249 pension.
Yeah, exactly.
In Jim's eyes and Amy's, they were not doing anything wrong. It said you collected 249.
Yeah, exactly. But then that was changed.
Jim was not the 249.
Exactly, but it was changed somewhere along the line.
Right.
Cause they showed it to him.
Right.
After.
So in Jim's eyes, he was not doing anything
Yeah,
wrong.
exactly.
You know?
And when they changed it, they should have
Informed everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like they.
Yeah, like
Chair,
everyone's.
one chair missing. I'm gonna take it. See in the middle back there? Right here. I'm gonna take one back here.
Oh, okay, I see.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I'm gonna leave two up here.
And then just grab one from.
No, I'm gonna grab this right here. I'm gonna grab one of those. I'll give it a little bit more room.
Oh, I was gonna say, even right here,
Oh,
since
yeah,
it'll
that's
do
perfect.
two.
Yep. Yep, that's even better.
I told you, I said, oh, something's going on here. And then, you know what? They're doing me a favor.
In all honesty, they are.
But like everyone says.
As long as you guys are okay financially and Yeah, I mean, I really like to